Lego fans, you have something I want. You might have some idea what you are in possession of, but you do not. He is worth more to me than you will ever know. Hello everyone, it is Briximus Builder, or Briximus Prime, and I am back again for another Lego set review, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Transformers Lego crossover set, the Lego Optimus Prime. And, am I excited for this set? I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. I'm a big fan of both Lego and Transformers. Wait, let's just get right on into the review by starting with the packaging. And now taking a look at the packaging. Right up front here it says Transformers Optimus Prime. Got a lovely image there of Optimus Prime. It says model converts. Down here it's got the Lego logo. It says 18 plus. It is number 10302, has 1,508 pieces, and it retails for about $160 to $170 in the US. Here on the other side of the packaging, got a nice image of the Optimus Prime with the Lego and Hasbro logo right there. And then here on the back, it's got a bunch of different product shots and product images that we'll be going over in this review. So anyway, let's just get right on into the review by starting with the accessories. Also, just before we get into the accessories, I did want to show off the instruction booklet really quickly. Here's what it looks like. It's got the nice retro Autobot logo, same thing there on the back with a little one. And throughout the booklet, it gives a nice description and brief, depiction of Transformers, and then it also goes over Optimus Prime as a character. Got some nice artwork, goes over the build and some of the accessories and some of their significance. Then it gets into the actual build itself, and throughout the whole build, it has these little nuggets of fun facts throughout the whole build that makes it really enjoyable. See, here's one of those fun facts right there. Then it talks about, and then it has a separate piece of the instructions just dedicated to how to transform it. So very nice set of instructions right here. It made it a very enjoyable build as a Lego set. And now going over the accessories included with this figure, just like as I do with my action figure reviews. First of all, going over the big obvious one, here is the Sideswipes jetpack, which they built very nicely. It's got the printed on Autobot logo right there. And it's got some nice little builds and pieces here, and these are the clips that allow it to connect on there, so very nice looking accessory. These thrusters are also adjustable. He also comes with his Energon axe, which it's not the best build that could have been come up with, and it is a little flimsy, but they still did a pretty good job, I'd say, on the overall build, and it does connect on pretty solidly. I like the use of all the transparent parts. He does also come with his iconic Ion Blaster, which actually was depicted out pretty well, I'd say, bringing in a action figure version. You can see it is a pretty close, actually I'd say even more accurate representation of the gun right there, so very nice little bit right there. And then he also comes with an Energon cube, just made out of clear transparent parts. He also comes with a plaque here that shows off his function and stats as a leader. This is a pretty standard thing for Lego sets that are like the ultimate collector display sets. They always come with a nice little plaque here, and this one just has his strength, intelligence, speed, endurance, and his function as a commander, and his quote, "Freedom is the right of all sentient beings." You guys are welcome for that voice impression. I'm available for voice impressions and all kinds of voice work. You can contact me at any time you want. But anyway, that is basically it for that. And this guy does come with an alternate piece for his bumper. Yes, this figure, unfortunately, is a case of parts for me. And getting into weapon storage, the only weapon that can store is the Ion Blaster here. What you want to do is you want to hinge down this handle, and then it simply just slides in right here on the back of the truck, and that is not a bad look right there. Anyway, that's it for the weapon storage. And here is Optimus Prime in his flat-nose truck mode, and it looks really good, and it's pretty big as well. We'll get into size comparisons in a second, but I do really like the way how this came out, and yeah, let's just get right on into the truck. I wanted to take a look at some of these up-close details. So first of all, just going through some of the issues, the truck mode does have these gaps right here, but these can simply just be stated as being, side windows. But then there's some where they're like these little panel lines and gaps that kind of, and like seam lines, and sometimes these don't completely tab in very securely, but it all holds together pretty well. And again, there is a little bit of a gap back here, and you can see a tiny bit of his head kind of poking out right there. But again, it is not that big of an issue. Another thing I want to mention is even though this thing transforms pretty simplistically, there is barely any kibble on this thing at all. Even on the bed of the truck even looks pretty well. And also, I want to mention these rubber wheels do make it roll pretty well, I would also say. He's got the classic smokestacks, the red, the printed on Autobot logos, and he's got the nice windows right there. Also, wanted to mention, here's an accessory I forgot to talk about. He does come with the Matrix of Leadership, Light Our Darkest Hour, yada, yada, yada. Who cares? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But it doesn't, for some reason, it's miscolored. It's got the orange gem with having gray all over, even though it's gray handle with orange and then a blue gem, but whatever. But it does just store right there, and obviously that also happens in the chest, but just wanted to show that off really fast before I forgot. And again, really like the way how this thing came out. I like how the use of some chromed parts to give it some nice chromed detail, like on the original toy had all that chrome pieces. But anyway, that is basically it for the truck. So anyway, getting into the size comparisons, here is the Lego Optimus Prime compared to the Bumblebee movie masterpiece movie Optimus Prime. Be sure to check out that review if you haven't. Here he is with the Prime Wars Trilogy Leader Class Optimus Prime. I don't have the trailer on him. Here he is with what's considered to be one of the best Optimus Prime figures ever, the Earthrise Leader Class Optimus Prime.
Actually...
Shut up. And then here he is with my previous Transformers review, the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Nest Bumblebee. Be sure to check out that review if you missed out on it. And then here is Lego Optimus Prime compared with the uncombined form of the Lego Voltron. So anyway, that is basically it for this comparisons. And now let's get into the simple and easy transformation for the Lego Optimus Prime. Let's just get right on into it. Oh my gosh, did they really nail the head sculpt. They used all the kind of parts and pieces they needed to really bring to life that Optimus Prime look from the original cartoon, and I really like the way that they did it, and they even went as far as to make a brand new piece just for his mouth plate. They made it with the intention of using it for this set. Really like that. The eyes and this headpiece and this crest piece are printed on, and I like the way how that is. Coming down the rest of the body, I like how he's got the chest windows, and he's got the little headlight, the little floodlights going across the top. Those Autobot logos right there are printed on. They are not stickers. Again, very nice little details right there. All the essential colors and details are there on the Optimus Prime. Another thing I forgot to mention, this is the piece that you have to remove off of his belt buckle, and basically you replace it with this yellow piece, parts forming. Whatever. Then coming down the rest of the body, these yellow bits on the forearms, those yellow arrows, those are printed on as well, though they couldn't be bothered to print this piece. And also these hip pieces are also stickers as well. Coming down the lower legs. On the legs, they have some nice mechanical detailing, even though they're made of Lego. I appreciate all the silver chromed out bits. They even got the classic vents right there. And the feet are pretty sturdy for holding up the figure. Taking a look at the back of the figure, he does look very bare bones, but thankfully they do include Sideswipe's backpack as one of the accessories. It has the clips right there, and there are the two pegs right there. And basically you just peg it on there, and that actually makes the backpack look a lot more complete, and it makes the robot mode look a lot more solid and chunky, and he doesn't look so skinny from the backside. So I'm just gonna keep this displayed on his back from now on. Speaking of the other accessories, you can introduce his ion blaster, the hand doesn't actually grab the handle. What happens is you take this other end of the plate and you plug it in onto the studs on his forearm, and as you do that, those plug in, and then you wrap the fingers around the handle, and there you go. You got Optimus Prime holding his iconic ion blaster. Now let's go over the Energon Axe. The Energon Axe, they want you to remove the hand, and then you rotate this little bit in. There is a little square right there, and basically what you want to do is, on the Energon Axe, it does have this little brown axle piece from the Lego Technic line, and basically you're going to plug it in to that hole right there, and there you go. There you got the Optimus Prime's Energon Axe right there, so you can slash up and chop up some Decepticons. As for the Energon Cube, it doesn't really peg anywhere. You can just put it in his hand. I don't know. Something I did want to bring up about this figure, for being a Lego set that's put together through bricks, he is really solid, and all the joints are nice and tight, and they're kind of like those Lego ratcheting joints, so everything feels nice, tight, and smooth. Anyway, getting into that articulation, here, he's got a nice ball joint at the head, which allows for some swiveling, allows him to look down that far, and then he can't really look up, but if you utilize that transformation joint, he can look up pretty far, get a little bit of head pivoting. Shoulder can rotate a full 360. It can move in and out a tiny bit, though if you move the shoulder, you get some backwards butterfly joint. If you move that backwards, it does allow it to move out just a teeny bit more. He does get some elbow swivel, and it bends 90 degrees at the elbow. He also gets a wrist swivel. The thumb can rotate, and the fingers can individually move, though if you remove this 1x3 plate here, you can give him individually articulated fingers, just as an option, only they don't feel as solid. Also, if you untab this little part around the waist, it does allow for a very hindered waist swivel, but it's not really worth it. His hips can also kick forward that far when you have it unpegged, and they can kick back that far. And then they can also do the full splits, though you can also remove this tire, and that will bring it out to the full splits. Those tires are optional. The hip, then he can also rotate. He doesn't have any knees, but he does have a knee swivel. And then down here at the feet, he does get a slight ankle pivot, and then the toe can bend up and down that little bit. So, pretty good articulation for this being a Lego set. Size comparisons. Here he is with the Transformers Masterpiece movie, Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. Here he is with the Power of the Primes Optimus. Here he is with the Earthrise Leader Class Optimus. And then finally, here he is with the Nest Bumblebee, my previous review. And then finally, here he is with the Lego Voltron in its full combined form. So anyway, that's it for the comparisons. And that is basically it for my review on the Transformers Lego Optimus Prime. Now, here's the thing about this particular Lego set. Everyone agreed this set was very split on a lot of people. A lot of people thought that if you were a Lego fan, this set didn't really sell for you because you're not really that big a fan of Transformers and don't know much about it, or it's too expensive for some Transformers fans because a Lego set this expensive usually is like as much as some Masterpiece Transformers figures now. So for some people, this was quite a conundrum for some people because some Transformers fans are not as big Lego fans and some are not as big Transformers fans for Lego fans. But for me, because this is the best of both worlds from both of the toy lines that I super duper love, this is a solid solid home run for me. The only problems with this set is I feel like Lego could have done better on engineering in knees and doing some better parts and stuff here and there, but overall, based on the engineering and how long it took, this set is a definite buy for me. Now, the only problem is, and this set is worth the price per piece ratio on how many pieces you get for what. The only problem is I do have a few issues here and there. It does tend to be a little bit not as sturdy as I'd like it to be in some parts, specifically during the transformation, and I wish the robot mode was a little more posable, but other than that, it looks great. So that is basically it for my review on the Transformers Lego Optimus Prime. And yeah, if I had to give this Lego set a rating, I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. Just had those tiny little nitpicks that prevented me from loving it all the way, but I still love this thing to death. If you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to give me a like on the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time. And be sure to check out my Lego channel as well.